This is Betsy Payne bringing you Windrush Farm Storytime. In this story, you find out how a pony gets to be a Windrush horse. The story is Marietta, Therapy Horse. Is she on? A voice shouted. All on, head fastened, replied a second voice. Okay, we're off, said the first voice. The truck moved forward, pulling a trailer behind it. In the trailer was Marietta, a small chestnut pony with a white star and 2 white socks on her hind legs. Marietta was on her way south to North Andover, Massachusetts, to live, she hoped, at Windrush Farm, where she might be a therapy pony. Whatever that is, Marietta thought. She felt lonely on the trailer, sad and a little scared. Marietta was 9 years old, and lately she had not really lived anywhere for very long. For the first 6 years of her life, she lived up in Maine with a family. Marietta loved that family. There was a big, kind dad and a friendly, sweet mom, and a boy and girl who brought her carrots and apples and sometimes even pears. Marietta loved pears. They taught Marietta to lead and to wear a saddle and bridle. They rode her, and she learned how to trot and canter, to change leads, to bend around cones, and to back up. Marietta loved the boy and girl and felt very happy when they rode her. But something bad had happened to the family, and they had to sell their house and barn and move to the city. So Marietta was sold to a girl in New Hampshire who was looking for an eventing pony. Well, Marietta had tried hard, but she wasn't very flashy looking, and she was very timid about going over fences. In fact, she was downright scared of galloping round a ring and going over bigger, even quite small poles and bushes and walls. So the girl sold Marietta to her neighbor, who put her out in a field and didn't pay much attention to her at all. Marietta was very disappointed, but what could you do when you're just a small chestnut pony on your own? Then one day, the neighbor person was talking to a friend who suggested that Marietta might like to have a job, and that he knew of a farm in Massachusetts that helped people who had difficulties to ride and get strong or better or something. Marietta didn't quite understand, but the neighbor was glad to give her to the man, and so there she was in the trailer, heading off to be a therapy pony, whatever that was. It seemed to Marietta that the trailer ride went on for a long time, but at last the truck turned into a driveway, drove up a hill, and came to a stop. Someone opened the front of the trailer and unfastened the strap that attached Marietta's head to a ring on the wall, and then he opened the back of the trailer and let down the ramp. Okay, easy girl, come off slow, said the man. So Marietta backed very slowly down the ramp and looked around. She was in a stable yard with a big barn on one side and a little barn on the other side. In back of her was a square white house with a pretty garden. Then a lady came up to Marietta and patted her. Hi, Marietta, she said. Good girl. Did you have a long trip? Let's put her out in the paddock for a while. Let her roll, get a drink, and we can watch her. That sounded pretty good to Marietta, so she went with the girl to the paddock and went inside. 2 ladies and a man came over and watched her. Well, she's the right size, said one, about 14 hands. How old? She's 9. And what training? Well, we'll have to try her. She supposedly was working with one owner to do eventing, but it didn't work out. She was timid with jumping and not spirited enough for the owner. Well, that's good for us. She seems sweet. Marietta just stood inside the paddock, very still. She felt very scared. She didn't want to roll. She was thirsty, but she didn't want to move. I think she's nervous, one of the women said. Let's just leave her a while, and this afternoon we'll try her out. The group walked away, and Marietta was left alone. She looked around. No, she wasn't alone. There were 2 horses in the paddock across from her, a big bay and a little gray pony. Marietta walked close to the fence and said, Hi, I'm Marietta. The big bay stared at her. He said. Another pony here on trial. Well, Marietta, good luck. They send a lot of them back, you know. Oh dear, said Marietta. Why do they do that? Oh my, said the gray pony, don't you know? It takes a very special horse or pony to be a therapy pony. Oh dear, said Marietta. How do you have to be special? Well, said the pony, you have to have perfect barn manners. You have to be quiet and well-mannered under saddle, said the bay, and always stand quietly when your rider mounts and dismounts. Some of our riders aren't very strong or agile, and, excuse me, said Marietta, what's agile? Some can't bend real well, said the pony. Oh, I know about bending, said Marietta. I had to bend and bend around cones in my last home. Well, that's nice, but it's the humans that can't bend, not you. Oh, said Marietta. Then, continued the bay, you have to have very smooth, balanced gaits. Perfect, in fact. I am known for my fluid trot and canter, he said, arching his neck and tossing his shiny black mane. Oh, said Marietta. Oh, dear. Well, thanks for telling me. She hung her head and walked slowly away from them, feeling very sad. She was not perfect in any way, she knew. Oh, dear, no. In fact, she was so unperfect that no one really wanted her. Well, I have good barn manners, she thought, and I always stand very quietly because I really don't have anywhere to go. I don't know about my gaits. I know how to trot and canter, both ways, but smooth, I don't know, and they don't even know about my jumping. Oh, dear. All too soon, someone knew about the jumping. That afternoon, a tall, strong-looking young woman took Marietta out of the paddock and up to the barn, where she put on a saddle and bridle and led her out to the mounting block. Oh boy, thought Marietta, here goes. She tried to stand very still while the lady mounted, but quiet little thing, aren't you? Was all the lady said, and gave her a strong kick. Marietta started walking quickly. They headed down a hill to an outdoor arena. Okay, said the lady, now let's see what you can do. She made Marietta trot and canter in circles, right and left. Marietta was very scared, but she tried very hard. Then the lady said, let's see what you can do with these, and put Marietta at a line of low jumps around the outside of the ring. Oh no, thought Marietta, I can't, oh I can't. But the lady squeezed hard as they came up to each of the jumps, and Marietta managed, barely, to hop clumsily over each one. Well, not a jumper, said the lady firmly. Oh dear, thought Marietta, does that mean that they'll send me away? The lady took Marietta back up to the barn and dismounted. She gave her a pat on the neck. Okay, Marietta, she said, you can go in your stall now. A girl came out of the barn and took Marietta's lead rope and led her across the yard and into the smaller barn. Marietta looked from right to left as they walked down the aisle. There was a big black horse, a smaller bay pony, then an empty stall. The girl opened the empty stall and Marietta slowly walked in. There were clean shavings on the floor, a water bucket hanging up in front, and a pile of hay in the corner. Here you go, she said, and walked away. Marietta felt very lonely. She went over and drank some of her water, but she didn't want any hay. Then a voice came through the bars of the stall next to her, and a light brown nose appeared. Hi, the nose said. I'm Evan. Who are you? Oh, said Marietta. Hi, I'm Marietta, and I'm new, and I don't think they're going to keep me. She lowered her voice to a whisper. I can't jump very well. Oh, don't worry about that, said Evan. I'm a pretty good jumper, but I'm still working on a lot of other stuff, and they like me fine. Do you know what? My mother is here, too. She's a star Windrush pony. They love her. She does hippo. She does what? Said Marietta. Hippotherapy. It's for real little kids who don't work so good. They sit on my mom's back, and a teacher tells them what to do, and my mom walks round and round, and that helps them to get better. Wow, I wish I could do that, said Marietta. I could walk very slowly and carefully. Well, maybe you can. See, there's my mom over in that stall. And there's Tucker. He does hippo, too. He jerked his head toward a stall across the aisle where an older gray pony was busily munching hay. "Oh, I hope I get to do hippo," Marietta said. In the days that followed, Marietta spent a lot of time in the paddock and had some rides with different ladies who said they were trying her out. Marietta did try very, very hard to do what they asked, and one or two of them said "good girl" when she performed well. One of them, who Marietta liked a lot, took her back to her stall one afternoon and said, "Marietta, you are trying really hard. I know. Good girl." "Well, we'll see." She walked down the aisle and another lady joined her, and Marietta could hear them talking. "I think she'll be fine," said the nice lady. "She's dull. She has no zip," said the other lady. "She doesn't need zip. She's a therapy horse." "Okay, well, we'll try her in classes this week." And so Marietta began her real Windrush career. Each day, boys and girls came up to the barn, and a volunteer brought them to the horse or pony they were going to ride. First, they groomed them, then they put on their saddles and bridles. Last, they put the halters on with a lead rope attached. Marietta tried very hard to help them. She turned herself so she'd be easy to groom on each side. She picked up her feet so they could be cleaned out. She breathed gently on the shy ones and whispered that it was okay. Marietta loved the children. They patted her and hugged her, and her starved little self felt like it was getting more and more peaceful and happy every day. Oh, if only she could stay. The days went by, and each day Marietta loved Windrush Farm more and more. She had made friends with several of the ponies. Evan was her special favorite, but also Cricket and Pie. Missy B was rude, and the big horses looked down their beautiful long noses at her and called her Plotty. But Marietta didn't care. Every day she worked on standing quietly, shifting her weight when a boy or girl couldn't sit quite right, stopping if she could tell the child was upset. She learned to trot over poles so smoothly that one day she heard one of the instructors say, "Hey, look at Marietta. She just glides over those poles. What do you think about her for hippo?" Marietta held her breath. "Oh, please, please." "Ah, yes, let's try her. We'll see what Monica thinks." So a few days later, on a beautiful sunny summer morning, Monica, the hippotherapy instructor, put her special saddle on Marietta, and Marietta waited at the front of the big indoor arena and watched a very tiny little girl come toward her, leaning on a metal frame so she could walk. But she couldn't walk very well. She came up to Marietta and touched her nose. Marietta stood very still and breathed gently on the little girl. "This is Marietta, Chrissy," said Monica. "You're going to ride her today. Should we go to the ramp and get you on?" Marietta walked very slowly and carefully. "That's Marietta. She hasn't been with us very long," said the horse handler named Carol, and they went to the ramp where Carol had her stand very close to the side. "Good girl, Marietta," Carol said. "Monica, she seems fine." "You think?" said Monica. "Well, here we go." She carefully lifted Chrissy onto Marietta's back, and the two sidewalkers who went along on either side of Marietta to help Chrissy adjusted her stirrups. Marietta stood very still until Monica said, "Walk on, Marietta," and very slowly and as smoothly as she had ever walked, Marietta went out into the arena. "Pony," said Chrissy, and patted Marietta's neck, and patted and patted. "Yes, nice pony," said Monica, and began the lesson. They walked in circles. They stopped and started, stopped and started. Monica and the helpers had Chrissy turn around and sit backwards. Weird, thought Marietta, but she carefully shifted her weight when Chrissy listed to one side. "Hey," said Carol, "this pony's good. Did you see that?" She shifted her weight so Chrissy wouldn't slip. "Great," said Monica. "A good pony will do that. Marietta's going to be fine, I think." Marietta felt like she would burst with pride. She was doing hippo, and she was doing it well. After that, Marietta went in hippo classes every week, sometimes 2 or 3 classes a day. She got better and better at sensing just what the small child on her back needed, what Monica needed her to do. Then one day, late in the summer, she was being led back to the barn, the end of the day, when she saw a small group of people standing in the yard watching her, and heard one of them say, "Fascinating. Amazing what you people are doing with those kids and those horses. We certainly want to help out Windrush Farm." And a lady said, "Now, which little pony is that?" And Marietta heard the director answer, "Why, that's Marietta. She hasn't been with us very long, but she's one of our best therapy horses." The end.